Okay, so there is a spot in the rule book that explains all the operations. And so thankfully, again, GMT's rule books are good. You just have to find it. These modern coin games, my only beef with them is just, the rules are meaty. They're hard to remember everything, but I give them credit. It's in there. And so what this INC means, I don't know exactly, but when you read the rule book, it says if you have 3 or more activists, then you get to move one onto a railway. So the INC, I don't fully know what, oh, I know what it is. Look at this right over here. Indian National Congress, INC. Oh, come on. All right, fair enough. So you need to have 3 or more in order for them to move onto a railway. Okay, and then, so the number of protests defines how many they're going to do. And so it's pretty simple. We're grabbing this one. Protest is going to go here, and they go active. Protest goes here, and they go active. And then the protest is going to go here, and they go active. Now, what this was supposed to do, because remember, this is what threw it off, right? Because it said activists, is let's say they had more than the cubes here. By going active like this, if there was no cubes here, we would actually lose control. And then we would lose 2 points. But because we have 2 cubes there, and they're active, it's 2 to 1, so we still have control. Does that make sense? Now, if this one were to go active, then it's 2 to 2, we still have control. And if this gorilla were to go active, then we would suddenly lose control because now all 3 of them are outnumbering us. But that's not the case right now. So this, he did get protest markers out everywhere, which is good. I still don't think this was the most ideal solution. I think in short, so far the AI is not impressing me. Like, I love the cards. Don't get me wrong. The cards are good, but the AI is a little weak so far. And I think this might be why you have to play all the way to the end. And again, I think an AI for a game like this is really complex. So don't confuse me saying that it's weak to I hate this game. I think this is a very slick way to do it. I think that, again, I know I harp on Pendragon a lot, but the reason I love it is because the Barbarian AI is really good because it's simple. They're in and out, they do specific things, and they do it well, right? And then with this is much more complex. And I think that's why I'm not as impressed with the AI. But then again, with Enemy Action Ardennes, I beat that the second time I ever tried it. Everybody talks about that and how great it is. At some point, I don't know. I mean, I guess I win every DVG game I play too, but I still enjoy it a lot. Anyways, back to this. So we did this step, and then, of course, we're not going to do anything here because they don't have 3 markers anywhere. They really desperately need to get markers out, and that's the part that I think I'm a little disappointed in. They should have done that first. But next, they're going to do a special activity. The first one they want to do is negotiate to release Gandhi from jail. He's not in jail. So then instead, they're going to do Satyagraha to move Gandhi, and then add an activist. That's what they really want to do. And so let's, and then of course here you can see the civil disobedience. If we did that, you're going to place protest in Gandhi's space. So that's only if he does the move. So let's look at what this is. Okay, move Gandhi and remove unrest. Accompanying up any space. First, move Gandhi to any space. Release from jail if Raj agrees. Then in the space with Gandhi, either remove one unrest marker and any protest marker, flip activists, or place a Congress activist. And what they're saying is they're saying move Gandhi, then add an activist, and then place protest in Gandhi's space. There's no protests available. So that's the problem. So we can't do that. All the best he's going to get is an activist, and that's it. So which space is he going to move to? Well, I'm pretty sure, let me grab this. There's probably a move Gandhi thing in here somewhere. Move priorities for Congress. Select the destination using space selection priorities table. My battery's going low. Here we go. Move or release Gandhi. I missed it right there. Any place that's not an active opposition, that's a million places. 2-pop narrows it down. Raj control narrows it down some more. In fact, that narrowed it down to unrest. Okay, so I know I was flying through this, but let me back up. Not an active opposition. This is active opposition, so that ruled it out. It's 2-pop and has unrest, and it meets the other conditions as we move down, but it doesn't meet the first one. So that's the reason why East Bengal is not getting it. Now, Punjab is where I think he wants to go, but you got to understand that the cities, well, actually the cities are only 1-pop. Oh yeah, he's going there. He's going to Punjab. Now he counts as an active marker, so we're actually at 2 and 2 now for purposes of control. And now that he's there, he gets an activist. There's already a protest marker there, so I don't think he was moving somewhere that didn't. Yeah, the protest wasn't important, but that's where he ended up. And so he does get to take an activist, and you take it from the available, and it goes here. And then here's what's crazy. 1, 2, 3 versus 2, the British lose control. So then we go down 1, 2. So Gandhi was able to get there, and the activists caused Britain to lose control. Now, granted, the active support is very strong, but we don't have control over the region because the activists are outnumbering the troops, even though the active support is really good. So that's thematically how that works. And yes, his turn is finally over. They're meaty turns, there's no doubt about it. And now it's the revolutionary player. And the revolutionary player is the second eligible. So will they be first eligible in an upcoming critical event? And the answer is no. It is a critical event for them, but they will not be first eligible. First eligible chose Ops plus SA and the event is effective. Now that's actually a good question. Move up to 3 activists or guerrillas from out of play to available, and then you remain eligible. So let's check if that is, because that's not putting anything on the board, it's just moving them to available. So does it add revolutionary pieces? It moves guerrillas from out of play. So right here, an event is effective if move guerrillas from out of play. And that's exactly what the event does. So it's saying, is the event effective? Yes. So they're going to do, they're going to do the event. So what they're going to do is they could choose to do the event or unlimited operations. They're going to do the event. And what's interesting is They're going to remain eligible, and they move 3 activists or guerrillas from out of play to available, and they're always going to move their own. So 1, 2, 3 go to available. So it just means they go into the box. They don't actually go into the game, but they remain eligible. So they're going to go back to there, and then the round or the turn's going to end like that, with 3 of us being eligible next turn. And this is the current card, and this is the new one. And you can see the new one, we actually go first, and it's critical. So we can set the restraint to 2 and set 2 spaces with rush control to passive support. What's interesting is everywhere we have rush control is already passive support. Set restraint to 4 and place a protest marker in any, yeah. This is critical for us, but this assumes we have control in a whole bunch of places where we don't have support, and the opposite is true. So this is not as helpful to us as you might think. And then, of course, we go first either way, this way or that way. So let's read what this does for us. Remove 4 activists, up to 1 protest marker, and up to 1 unrest marker from the map. That's not bad. In fact, we would regain control if we remove those activists near Gandhi. Or we get to do a full action, and then green gets to go, and they can add up to 4 activists and 2 unrest markers to any space, which could also include railways. I sort of like this. I mean, it's not the most amazing thing, but removing 4 activists is pretty good. And then we get to up to 1 protest marker and up to 1 unrest. All of it gets to get removed. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that. So we're going to go and we're going to do the event. And so we get to remove 4. So 1, 2. And then that causes us to regain control. And we get 2 points. And then as far as the other activists go, we can get rid of activists from these places if we wanted. Oh, and I forgot. When that protest marker is there, this activist becomes active too. I forgot about that. So, now what's interesting is when we remove what I'm trying to decide is, okay, if I remove this activist, does it go to jail or does it just go back to the box? Like, do we arrest Muslim forces? I know for sure we arrest the Indian National Congress people. It's the other ones I don't remember. And I know that's written somewhere. I read it like 12 times. And of course, now that I need to know, I don't remember where I put it. Here we go. Arrested versus removed. We get to remove. Oh, here we go. If an event specifies that Gandhi or activists are arrested, move to jail. If an event specifies that pieces are removed, remove them to their faction's available box. That's what I was looking for. So we don't actually arrest them. They just get removed. So these 2 that I put in the jail are actually going there. And with that in mind, I'm going to remove these 2, put them back over there, and I think that was it, right? 4. then I get to remove a protest marker and an unrest marker. So now that's an interesting conundrum there. Bombay has both, but it doesn't do Jack Diddley because they don't have anybody there. The unrest marker here, of course, is an issue. And then, of course, they have protest markers in the cities, but I'm not worried about the cities too much. I'm going to remove this protest marker, which flips him back. And then I'm going to remove this unrest marker over here. So that goes away, and this goes back on the board. And they said that the highest number is what you return it to. So obviously they get taken top down and then get added back bottom up. All right, so that was my event. Whether or not that was truly helpful to me, I think it was. I scored points out of the deal, and it hurt them. I think that's part of it. This is all about control. So next, for the card, I know I discarded the card already, but green is next. And so now we get to do what it says for green. And so, again, he's second eligible. Would he be first eligible in the upcoming critical event? And the answer is he would be first eligible, but it's not a critical event. Okay, so did I choose Ops plus SA and the event is active? No. Will he be first eligible in the upcoming card? The answer is yes. So he's going to pass. So green passes, and actually black is eligible to go. Obviously this is a critical event for black, but we use the event, so neener neener. And again, if you go through this, he's not going to be first eligible in the next one. He's not going to be, it's not critical. He's not going to be first eligible on the next coming card. I chose, otherwise he's going to do Ops plus SA, which is true, because he is going to get to do a full action. Because we did the event that lets him do a full action. So let's see what he does. So we're going to grab from the bottom. There it is. Next card. So, do the guerrillas exceed unity in any spaces without a revolutionary base? The unity is 2, and the guerrillas do not exceed 2 anywhere. So we have to draw a new card. Any unrest or revolutionary bases without guerrillas? No. Draw a new card. 3+ guerrillas in any spaces? No. Draw a new card. Jiminy Christmas. Any 2-pot provinces with no unrest and no guerrillas? Yes. Die roll less than available guerrillas. Well, the available guerrillas is way more than 6, so it's an automatic yes. So they're going to do rally. Place bases where guerrillas exceed unity. Select spaces using place guerrillas. Move 1 guerrilla from out of play to available. Okay, so let's see what the card says for rally. So what it does is it adds revolutionary forces, cities, provinces, and state without support, plus any with a revolutionary base. All right, so this is one of those deals where, remember, their max is 3, right there. So, and then the restraint is only 3, so actually there's a chance that they'll be able to do more because the restraint's lower. But so first thing they want to do is, so procedure. In each space, either place gorillas equal to 1 plus the bases, or replace gorillas equal to unity with a base. Then you may move one gorilla from out of play to available. So here's the problem. There is no, the unity is 2, so they can't place any bases. They will get to select spaces using place gorillas, and you can see here there's the place gorillas chart. So the revolutionary base without gorillas is the first priority. There is no bases on the board. There are no. Unrest without gorillas doesn't exist. Most revolutionary bases doesn't exist. 1 to 2 gorillas and no base doesn't exist. Well, 1 or 2. Okay, I'm sorry. 1 to 2 gorillas, that does exist. So how many gorillas do they get to place? Equal to 1 plus the bases. All right, so of the places that have gorillas without a base, it's basically anywhere you see a black, right? It doesn't mean they have to be active gorillas. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the first number, that's the second. So 3, 4 is the random. So 3 is this little blue region here, and 4 is West Bengal. There's no gorillas in West Bengal, but remember, then it goes to 5, which is East Bengal. So that's actually really well done from the AI perspective. So they put 1 there, and now we're going to roll a die to see if we get to do another one. And remember, restraint is 3 or less now. So I rolled a 3, which means they're done. They don't do any more. Okay, so that part's done. And then we move a gorilla from out of play to available. So that just means grabbing one of these from out of play. And it gets added to available, which is a lot right now. And then they get to do a special activity. There is no crisis. Infiltrate to replace one adversary, or aid to go underground in 2 spaces. So let's see, infiltrate. Take over a piece or place a base. Any up. 1 space with an underground gorilla. In selected space, either replace a sepoy, activist, or protest marker with an underground gorilla, or if during a crisis, place a base if there's no control. So we're going to replace a sepoy, activist, or protest marker with an underground gorilla in a place that has an underground. So any one of their places that they, well, we're going to rule out the ones that don't have anything, right? Bengal does. For example, there's nothing here, nothing there, and nothing there. Oh, actually, there's a protest marker there. So, and there's something there, but there's nothing there is what I meant to say. Okay, so now we're going to go look at the priority chart. Or this is that adversary thing. Replace, then remove. And so in this case, we are replacing. So they're not going to replace an unrest marker. The Muslim state marker is next, but they're not in one of those. A protest marker is actually the next one, and it is available as part of the infiltrate. It says replace a sepoy, an activist, or a protest marker. So the protest marker is the 3rd priority, so we're going to go ahead and do that. And it's actually this one here. So we're going to take that and put it back. And then they get to place an underground gorilla in its place. So got to replace it. Okay, so that's it. That is maximum of 1 space, what they did there. Okay, one of the things I'm learning right away is, like in that case where we had to flip through all the cards, I'm separating them. We're going to just grab, I mean, the fact that we went through almost the entire deck just to get 1 card that works for them. And I'm just gonna, we're just not gonna do it the way I used to. I'll just shuffle, shuffle. I'm not gonna be able to peek at these cards and know what they're gonna do next. I mean, it would require deliberate cheating to do that. There's so much text on these cards that I'm not gonna worry myself over it. And then, yeah, if I have to draw another card, I at least don't have to go through the entire deck to find it. So now they're all at least their own separate deck. We'll just leave it be, and then after I use one, it's just gonna go on the bottom. And we're just gonna keep going through. I mean, technically speaking, I guess you're supposed to shuffle again. I may change my mind later and have a discard pile. We'll figure it out. Okay, so that's everything. And so now these two come here. This guy goes there, right? And then you're gonna have this situation, but we're gonna have to do it tomorrow because it's late at night and I'm out of battery. And there you go, we're started. I think the early jitters and the slow moving, I'm starting to feel the pace get a little quicker. I'm starting to get more comfortable with looking at these charts and figuring out what to do. This is my very first playthrough using these AI bots. I just did a quick read through the rule book. And like I said, I went through the playbook, you know, the little example they had there, which didn't even use AI bots at all. I can tell you that in just a short amount of time, I'm starting to already feel comfortable with it. I think the AI still sometimes does stupid things, but these cards are really slick. I like it. You know, does it really replace the bot charts that we used to have? In some respects, they are the bot charts, just in smaller pieces. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if this was anything that revolutionary, to be quite honest. This just feels like I'm going through a bot chart, except now I'm just drawing cards until one of them applies. But I do like the idea that each card is specific to a particular command. And to be quite honest, that is nice. And so far, going through the card and figuring out, okay, what do we do next? What do we do next? Seems to have been seamless. And in all honesty, it's because of this. This little priority chart here is awesome. That, to me, is what made this game great. It's not necessarily the Arjuna deck. It's this chart that makes the game great. And then that chart and that chart. Like, if, you know, again, thinking about Pendragon, I would love those little charts. You know, that the barbarians are going to invade this first, and they're going to go after, you know, the swampland first, and then, you know, that I think is what would make those other games better. These cards aren't super innovative, but the organization of this is what makes it innovative. And of course, this is part of the Arjuna solution, and it's fantastic. We're playing a game with AI bots, and I truly have an opponent. Again, I'm very disappointed that I have to go through that entire deck in order to finish the game, because it won't let me win the game the normal way. I'm tempted to house rule it and win the game the normal way anyways. But who knows? I mean, if the AI continues to do stupid things, then maybe that's the reason why it's set up the way it is. So I like many aspects about this game. Again, I like Pendragon more. But, you know, how does this compare to, like, the Revolutionary War one or the Algerian War? I like the Revolutionary War theme the most, more than even Pendragon. The Algerian War one is awful. It could definitely benefit from this Arjuna solution. I would say gameplay-wise, this feels exactly like those other two, though. I mean, the fact that you have two non-violent factions versus violent factions doesn't mean anything, because everything is cubes. You're either putting cubes on or you're taking them off. And whether you do it violently or non-violently, it doesn't matter. So that's part of the, you know, the fact that there's non-violent factions, that's not very innovative either. This is just a coin game. where cubes go on and cubes go off. And so I love coin games and I don't love them at the same time, all for these reasons that I'm talking about. But yes, the American Revolution one, you know, you got America, you got France, you have the Indians, and you have the Patriots. And it's no different than this. You have control or opposition. You know, the British are in control or the Patriots are in control. They're either loyal to Britain or they're not loyal to Britain. These little bases for the revolutionaries, those are the same as the Indians. And then the Indian Congress is similar to France. But if anything, France was very unique in that game because, you know, they sort of, you know, France had a completely different mindset of what they wanted to do. They weren't trying to take territory anywhere. But, you know, there was, you know, ports and things like that. And so the French Navy got involved and did things. So that's where that game was unique. And the Indian National Congress is unique because you got this concept of jail and Gandhi himself running around doing things. I'm not saying that, but the games, as far as I'm concerned, are the same. The gameplay, the feel, everything is the same. I think 90% of the research that the developers of this game did was just making it historically accurate, and then of course coming up with these events, which are all historically based. And that part's always impressive, by the way, that they can do that. And then of course they have gameplay elements that get impacted. The state of India, with whether or not it's crisis, that's unique to this game. I mean, this is basically just a coin game with a different theme. And I don't think anybody tried to deceive us in the first place, right? This is Gandhi. It's a coin game. It's got coin written all over it. I mean, nobody was trying to deceive me when I bought this game and said, oh yeah, this is very different. I mean, the Arjuna deck, of course, was one of the things that it was touting as different, and I think it lived to that bill. That part is different. So anyways, enough of that. I will hopefully continue tomorrow. I have some plans, so it might be late again, but we can keep this game going and see where this takes us. From our perspective, we have a bunch of troops on the board. Now we gotta get them to go out and conquer and gain control of various places. So that's our objective. It's just, you know, we need to take another turn. I did use an event last time, so I'm not eligible this time, but we'll figure it out. As always, stay awesome and stay healthy and safe.